Hello, everyone. We are at India Energy Week 2026 in Goa, where leaders from across the country have descended to decide the way forward, how India consumes energy in the next decade or so. And I'm joined by Mr. Sandeep Kumar Gupta from GAIL India. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Welcome.
Sir, at India Energy Week, gas has been positioned as a transition fuel, yet the uptake is uneven. What is structurally you think is holding back gas, back in India?
So I will answer in two parts. First, I do not believe that it is a transition fuel anymore.
Okay.
While it was touted as a transition fuel, I believe this is the destination fuel.
Okay.
Why I say so? Because India, with its growth aspiration, will be backed by energy growth in the energy consumption. As you must have also heard, of all the energy growth in the world, 35% will be contributed by India only. So I believe there will be space for every fuel going forward, and every fuel will grow in that sense. So I believe natural gas is there to stay forever going forward. Second, you said that there is an erratic sort of growth. So while the growth has not been very erratic, in fact, the growth is not at those levels which we will aspire for to realize the vision of Honorable Prime Minister also to take the gas consumption from 6% to 15% by 2030.
Right.
So there are certain problems, as you are aware, that in the past the gas prices have become very higher after the Russia-Ukraine war. And that is a little concern for new consumers. But I believe that with growth in the LNG facilities in US and more gas coming from Qatar and various other projects coming in Argentina, Canada, Alaska is also on the table. That will also come in 4 or 5 years. So I believe there will be ample supply of LNG in the world, and the prices will definitely normalize, and that will see a great growth of LNG consumption in the country.
So you talked about prices. So how much of problem is pricing versus policy, certainty?
So I believe pricing is the main concern. On policy side, I believe only if natural gas is covered under GST. In fact, it is already covered. The date is to be notified
Right.
for its inclusion. So no sooner that GST coverage is extended to natural gas. In fact, this will see a great change. Besides that, no major policy issues are there. With the GST coverage, the CNG 14% excise duty on CNG will go away, and the input is standard input credit chain for the end consumers will get rectified. So I believe that will be a great policy push from government sides.
Okay.
Besides, in the CGD sector, which is the fastest growing sector of natural gas, there the permission time and the permission charges for laying the infrastructure in the cities is one concern which we are trying to address by interacting with various states.
Okay. And how important do you think will be a discovery, new discovery in India, or whatever discoveries we have, if we can go deep and realize the potential?
You must have heard Honorable PM in his inaugural speech.
Yeah.
He did mention that now we have to move from energy security to energy independence.
Yeah.
So it is extremely important for the country to have its own resources so that we do not spend foreign exchange on importing the product. As of today, about 50% of LNG is imported. So it is extremely important for the country to strike new discoveries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on to something else, how can GAIL's pipeline network become hydrogen ready in real time if India is to move towards hydrogen, which we are hearing at the India Energy Week?
So I believe that presently the hydrogen, green hydrogen, and moving to hydrogen will make sense only if it is green, because
Right.
it is for pollution considerations only. So I believe that green hydrogen, the cost will not become viable very soon. In fact, even the latest plants for which the contracts have been awarded will also cost about the green hydrogen from those plants will cost around $4 per kg, which is not at all viable.
Right.
So I believe it is time before hydrogen can be consumed in natural gas pipelines, and by that time the safety standards, etc., will also get developed. So as of now, I do not see a great future. But
Okay.
then as the standards develop as green hydrogen becomes viable, we will be ready to use hydrogen in our pipelines also.
That's great news. So you also talked about 6% to 15%. This target has been there. You still think that's realistic, especially given that the mix is changing?
Yeah, the mix is changing. In fact, when this 6 to 15% was perhaps envisioned, at that time there was belief that the conventional fossil fuels perhaps will go down in their consumption levels. But as I mentioned, with the growth aspirations of the country and the strong GDP growth, I believe there is room for every fuel to grow. And in that sense, 15% is very, very optimistic. But I believe if the policy push and the policy push in form of GST and in form of permission and permission charges, etc., gets rectified, and the for power also something is done so that it gets the gas-based power is picked in the merit order dispatch system. I believe this will provide a great fillip to natural gas consumption.
Right. So very quickly, final question: GAIL more of an infrastructure enabler or a market shaper?
Both.
All right.
We are both, and we believe that our forte is laying the natural gas pipelines, and we are progressing well on that path. And in fact, we are soliciting new authorization for us. There remains a question that why we are soliciting more pipelines where the regulator has not allowed the tariff as was filed by GAIL.
Right.
So I must tell that that is absolutely no concern for us, but because the regulator themselves have said that it will be trued up in the next revision in 28. Notwithstanding that, we have already filed a review petition with PNGRB because we feel that our filing of 78, which is now about 80 plus, is justifiable, and the regulator should revise it.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.